With patch 14 came the whole gambit of changes to the game, and one that we're still feeling the effects of are all the ammo changes to when and how we get access to more powerful rounds. We've talked about ammo multiple times in the past, some being taken off the flea market, how much certain ammos can be purchased, the whole 9 yards. But this time, ammo has gone through the largest change in the game's history. Even not so top tier rounds like M855 and PP ammo for 545 are being moved much deeper into the game's unlock cycle. It was quite a change by itself, but again, combined with everything else this patch brought in with it, it was just reinforcing why this patch feels like a brand new game. The game has us now scrounging around maps and looting scav magazines for whatever ammo we can get our hands on, and I love that. This is how the ammo economy should be at the start. Desperation to find and use rounds that may not be remotely what you want to use, but at the start of the game, you don't have a choice. It's crazy how after almost 2 weeks into the wipe, I just got the ability to buy M855 from Peacekeeper level 3. It's insane, but again, I love it. Ammo is one of the core components of being able to land successful kills in the game, and if everyone's access to the good stuff is being pushed further into the game, that means everyone, regardless of skill or level, has a better chance of killing other players and surviving the raid, which is what we've wanted for a long time. So, what are some of the ammos people find themselves using these days? Where are the good ammos now? And how have the interactions between the ammo changes and the new armor changes been? Well, let's talk about all of this, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to the channel for future videos. The ammos available at low-level traders is stuff you might not have seen or used in the game before. Lots of flesh damage ammos in addition to just very low penetration ammo types. Even the more basic ammos we were used to seeing like 7.62 PS and all the Mosin ammos are gone and off the vendors. Those rounds are pretty much liquid gold at the start. Ammos we are also used to unlocking from quests have been altered too, either by removing them flat out or making some of those ammos now be craftable. Some of the calibers got their numbers adjusted too. The biggest shakeup is easily 545. The new second best ammo is BP, which has become a trend for a lot of calibers. BT has gone from having 40 penetration back down to 37, so keep that in mind. Maybe they're trying to make the calibers and the ammo values more uniform, so all the BP ammo types are known for higher than average penetration, but this is just bro science on my end. Regardless, the 545 boat has been rocked somewhat, and things are very different from the previous wipe. But it's not just their values, how and when you acquire some of the ammos have also changed. For example, completing Punisher Part 3 no longer grants the purchase of PP, and now allows you to craft it in the hideout. So, even ammos sitting around the mid-30s for their penetration value are becoming harder to obtain. Granted, you can still of course find these and better ammos out there in the world in boxes. I found 120 rounds of 55A1 on reserve early on, so it's still possible to encounter these. But BSG has definitely made it harder to run these ammos with the same level of consistency as before. Getting your hands on 7.62 PS ammo, which has always been a solid round, is now locked behind proper level 3 instead of 1 or 2. So again, they are slowly dragging out how you get better ammos. This trend of ammos becoming more of a late game staple is an interesting and honestly refreshing take on how to prolong the early and mid game of a Tarkov wipe. Because there has always been one of the game's main problems. We all restart and everyone plays the game at their own pace, both because everyone has different goals when playing, but also because everyone has different amounts of time to play. But being able to use either 5.6A1 or even M80 back in the day by only hitting level 14 and getting Peacekeeper level 2 was kind of insane to think about. We played during that and didn't really think twice about it, but now both 5.6A1 and M80 aren't available until level 36. Crazy how far we've come in this game. But ammo changes aside, we all know this wasn't the only change. The armor changes and mobility adjustments have been massive for how we play Tarkov too. But a good question to ask is how the new armor changes interact with the ammo overhaul. It's hard to say exactly because a lot of this is going to be a subjective experience. If we were to look at things from a purely technical standpoint, yes, objectively, ammo is going to interact much differently when deployed against scavs and other players. Simply because the hitboxes have changed. Rounds might be able to get around or even through certain parts of armor for full damage instead of just being absorbed by what you're wearing. But what does this mean for your personal experience in raids? Well, for myself, it's been a bit of an odd one to say the least. There have been moments where I take a bunch of damage, almost die, but then I look at my armor and it's lost less than 10 durability. But on the other hand, the amount of armpits I've seen on the death screen is kind of comical at this point. Rounds you don't normally see, especially shotgun slugs, have been slipping through the cracks and doing lethal damage most of the time. This has certainly been the most interesting and diverse wipe we've had in, man, I would say years at least. Having soft armor and armor plates have also been playing a pivotal role in taking and dealing damage, because low energy or penetration rounds get absorbed by the soft armor and you end up taking little to no damage. What this also does is prevent armor from becoming useless before you would want it to. Before this patch, something like a corund armor that is made from armor steel would get shredded by a scav and then be kind of useless before encountering a PMC. But now, because the armor is divided up into different sections, if you get into a fight and let's say your back plate gets destroyed, you still have a front plate that is full durability and you can basically take another fight. It adds, and we've been talking about this a lot recently, layers to the game that shakes it up and makes it more different than it already was. In addition, being able to find or bring additional plates into the raid, drop your armor, and swap the plates out means that you can have durable armor throughout the entire raid instead of getting into one fight, getting your defenses zeroed, and having to extract even if you don't want to. But this plate swapping idea, I guarantee, will only become common much later into a wipe. People just don't have the capital or even the general resources to be running around with extra armor in their backpack. Plus, these things can be heavy, so more plates means you need more strength to run this strategy and be competitive with reaching highly contested points first. So I foresee the next couple of weeks or maybe months time, we will see people begin to consistently bring additional plates with them so they can stay in the fight for much longer than before. Well, that was a long tangent about armor, and here we are supposed to be talking about ammo. Ammo is just important as the armor changes, and as we get deeper into this wipe and people begin to run the more powerful rounds on offer, both massive changes will really begin to show their true colors and whether they were good changes to the game. For the ammo, the early game has emphatically been extended and people are happy about that. But what about the late game? We're slowly getting there, so in due time we will revisit this conversation and see how the game plays deeper into a wipe, with good ammo being harder to obtain. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts and experiences with the new ammo system, when you acquire new ammo, and any general thoughts about this topic, and be sure to subscribe for more videos talking about ammo down the road when we all have the good stuff. Hope to see you in future ones.